for those of you who have had the fortitude to hang in here with me, this is the third part of this three-part vlog, and we'll primarily deal with the YouTube experience as I see it. Everyone has their own opinion, and I'm sure there are scholars and newspapers that will define it differently than I do. But this is what I think. When my grandfather was a boy, he would have to go outside and start walking, and it would take him the better part of a day to go 20 miles to visit, or to take care of work, or to do whatever it was that he was going to do 20 miles away. It would take him the better part of a day. The world for him was a small town called Bradley, Arkansas. Bradley, Arkansas, the last time that I was there, had a population of 920. If you came in from the southern side, 1,450, I believe it was, if you came in from the northern side, and there were reasons for that as well. Basically, the sign that that tells what the population is was never taken down, and when that sign was originally put up, they didn't count the black folks that lived there and as part of the population. So the sign's still there, which is, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of a historical, almost like a historical monument, not really about racism, but about the time in general. At any rate, it would take him it would take him the better part of the day to go 20 miles. And then there was teletype and eventually telephone, and now he could talk to people that were much farther away. He couldn't touch and feel, but he could talk to them. And so his world became bigger. And then as my father was a boy, went to a one-room schoolhouse, and was interested in technology, and actually got involved in communications. His first communications job was to walk along the road from Bradley to a neighboring town called Hope, Arkansas. I'm sure a lot of you heard of that place. And what he would do is he'd take a fishing pole and unwrap the telephone lines, because when they wrapped, then they would cause static and you couldn't hear. And his job as a young youth was to unwrap the telephone lines that the wind had wrapped up. And he was interested in communications from that point on. He got a car. He actually got a car. I still have a business card from the first car that he had, which is kind of cool. And with that car, he could go to Hope, or he could go to Shreveport, Louisiana. It's near that area. And his world became bigger. And so the people that he met were a little bit different, had a little different view, and his world became bigger. Then in his later years, and my younger years, my teenage years, televisions became available in the 50s, and suddenly, you were seeing television programs first locally and eventually from all over the place, and there was syndication, and your world got bigger, and you heard more about the world outside where you lived. Then came computers and the internet. And now, you could sit down at the internet and you could leave a message on a message board, and you could talk to someone in Scotland or Great Britain or, Taiwan or Guam, and the world got bigger. And the bigger that it got, what most people found was that they were more alike than they were different. And, that they weren't all evil people, that they wanted the same things for their children. They wanted them to have a nice, a decent house to live in. They wanted them to have some good clothes. They wanted them to do better than they did when they were young. And that they were all basically had the same value systems and the same wants and needs. And now here we are on the internet, now that it's been commercialized, and pornography all over the place, and you have news all over the place, and you have people putting their opinions up, and the other people that are seeing those opinions as fact There was a problem early on in the internet where people would put up sites that looked like newspapers, and other people would go there and read that and think that there was some authority behind it and state it as fact, when it wasn't fact. It was just one guy's opinion. And now we have YouTube, and we have cell phones that take video, and the world has become huge, and we are truly becoming a global village. And now with the advent of something like YouTube, I can reach out and touch you. I can hear your words. I can understand what you say. I can argue with you if I think you're wrong, and I can pat you on the back when I think that you're right. I can also see that you're so much like me, and that's what drew me to YouTube. When I first came here, the first thing that I saw was a video by Norna. And it was just something mundane, getting a corn dog or something, and I paid attention to more than the corn dog. I paid attention to where she lived and how she lived, and I got a peek into someone's life that I wouldn't otherwise have, and learned from that. I'm a Sagittarius, and Sagittarius tend to be truth seekers. We're always trying to understand how it all works, and we're people watchers. So that interested me, and times it entertained me, when she genuinely said, I'm a national celebrity, and you could hear the realization in her own voice that it just hit her, and it was a beneficial thing for her. It was a good thing for her. She needed that pat on the back, and she was getting it through YouTube, and that was a good thing. And then I saw Bowie Chick, and then I saw Slayerette, and I saw hundreds of other people that were doing the same thing, putting up their everyday mundane lives, also showing the things that they enjoy, playing guitar or singing or going to a club and watching music. This is a place where you can discover what the world really is like, and more than anything else, we see ourselves. Now, many people will argue with that, and they've grown up learning that to cry is weak, to not be the head of the football team is weak. And when they see someone who is crying or is the head of the football team, they point at them and say, "You're weak," because that's what they learned. That's what they grew up with. That's what life is to them. And they're more than willing to put that on somebody else to make themselves feel good. And that's a shame, but it's also good that they're here, and that they're watching, and that they make their comments. These are good things too, because in the process, accidentally, they may be learning something that will affect their life in a positive way. So that's good. But I think more than anything else, YouTube, we're seeing, corporations are putting up videos, likes of Paramount and MTV and the E! Channel are putting things on YouTube that are commercial. And so we have news. Whenever you want the news, just bring up YouTube, do a search on news, and you can find out just about anything you want to know. You also have people like me and Lola Pickles, took pictures of her local road crew sleeping on a lawn. That's a good thing too. It's a good thing because you're seeing things for what they really are now. It's empowering. And you find out that we're all the same. And if you're doing things to make your life better, you're doing things to make the world better, that's a good thing. We are now literally a global village. I watch Will Smiles in Scotland, and I love it. And I can relate to it. And when he shows pictures of his mother, I can relate to it. I can see my mother in his mother. When you show me pictures of your friends and your sisters and your brothers, I see my friends and my sister and my brothers. And it's just like, you're my friends. In some cases, my enemies. Some people they don't like anything I stand for. I saw a post the other day, somebody said, that I was a no-tooth redneck with no shirt, and apparently, somebody needs to put up a PayPal account for me so I can afford a shirt. Well, it's because I like warm weather. I keep my room at about 80 degrees, and at 80 degrees, I don't need a shirt. And I'm comfortable this way. me not having a shirt bothers you, I'm sorry, but it's real easy for you to not watch me without a shirt, and then you won't be bothered anymore. But I love YouTube, and I think it's a powerful thing, and I think it's at its infancy of where it's going to go. We used to be afraid of Big Brother, and now we are Big Brother, because now we can point out the things in the world that we feel as human beings are counterproductive. And we can make our political statements, and we can make our religious statements, and we can make our personal statements, and stand up and collectively weigh in for what we believe in. And I think that you'll find that the majority of people are good people. The majority of people are not interested in tearing it down. They're interested in building it up. And if we can pat one another on the back for doing that, that's a good thing. So for me, that's what the Zen experience is all about. I'd like to apologize to you for turning this into a 4-part series rather than a 3-part series. I thank you for watching the entire thing. I know that it's a lot of sitting to do, but I appreciate it. And I hope I've answered some questions that others may have. You're welcome to leave questions for me. I have Ask Zen Archer is my kind of Zen thing, and I'll answer some questions there about the more Zen related topics. And thank you for watching. And you may be watching me. I guarantee you, I'm watching you. Until next time, be well.